The Philadelphia Eagles are hosting the Green Bay Packers in the first round of the 2024 playoffs. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this wild card matchup between the Packers and Eagles. But before we do that, if you like the work that Ryan and I put out and want to help grow the channel, the easiest way is hitting that subscribe button, tackling that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And while you're at it, leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win and why. And Ryan, the Eagles sat Saquon Barkley. He was 101 yards away from breaking the single season rushing record held by Eric Dickerson, I think since 84, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a long time. And what that did actually brought the Philadelphia Eagles down to the second ranked rushing offense in the league when it comes to yards allowed per game. They're averaging now shockingly less than 180 yards per game at 179.35. It's wild. I think it's amazing on how great of a season both the Eagles and Ravens have been having rushing the
Yeah.
ball. That it's even as close between them. And so they're going to be going up against Green Bay Packers, who lost today against the Chicago Bears. They had an opportunity to potentially bump up to the 6th seed, but even with Washington winning, they wouldn't have mattered anyways. But they lost a couple other things as well. Christian Watson looked like he went down with a pretty serious knee injury, got carted off, so he is most likely going to be unavailable for this game. Jordan Love got hurt as well during the game. It didn't come back in, but it seemed like it was precautionary, knowing that they were going to have a playoff game the next week. So just a story to monitor throughout the week. But in general, though, I think getting rest for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts as well. He has been out with a concussion since week 16 against the Washington Commanders. Yeah, it was the Commanders. Yes. And
Yeah.
so now that being said, though, it's been 2 weeks now, almost 3 weeks by the time that this game is played, as this game is being played on Sunday at 4:30. Jalen Hurts should be good to go. The entire offense should be good to go. Saquon Barkley will be back as well. And Ryan, I want to throw it over to you. Green Bay Packers have a top 10 rushing defense. They are averaging less than 100 rushing yards per game. How do they keep that streak alive going up against arguably one of the best rushing seasons that we've seen since Adrian Peterson's?
Uh, Hope and pray.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those like in fantasy football when it's like you had Adrian Peterson in his 2,000-yard rushing season, and it was just kind of like, I don't care if he's playing the number one rushing defense, I'm going to play him anyways. That's what this is, because like the Eagles, they're going to run the ball, and they're going to do it well no matter how good your rushing defense is. And it, like I think you can try to limit the damage that it does, but you're not going to stop it. If
Yeah.
that, I don't know if that makes sense there, but like you can limit the production, you can try to limit the explosive runs, but at a certain point, it's just this running game is just going to be too good, I think, to be like completely stopped. Especially too when you factor in Jalen Hurts is going to be coming back after a few weeks. He should be his legs should be feeling fresh. They might mix up some things there as well, get him involved in the running game. And then they still have like just phenomenal receivers. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goddard has had a good season as well. So, like all in all, this Eagles offense is just it's an elite rushing offense, but it is so well balanced at the same
Mhm.
time. And they do a really good job of putting defenses in a bind. Especially, it looks like Jair Alexander was moved to IR and he's done for the year with a knee injury. Christian Watson, that's going to be tough to swallow, as well, as it looks like he had a serious knee injury, like as you already mentioned. So this is just also a banged up Green Bay Packers team. Especially, they had a really rough schedule. This division in and of itself was just super physical and a super taxing. Even the Bears were one of the top defenses in the league, and they just played them. The Vikings the week before that, and so like they've just had a taxing, tough year, and I think it's just going to be a tough matchup here for the Packers.
Well, and so it's interesting too because this is one of two NFC Wild Card matchups where the teams played actually in Week 1. Both Washington and Tampa Bay also played in Week 1 as well, and so kind of looking at it from like this point, like from when they played then to now, it's like I think that's the biggest thing. Kind of looking back at this season is Green Bay has had to overcome a lot of injuries, and they still were able to make the playoffs, 7 seed overall, 11-6 on the season. Still a great season as well. But Romeo Dobbs missed some time, Christian Watson's missed some time. Jordan Love even missed some time, and he's been kind of banged up as well. Guys on the defensive side of the ball, like you said, Jair Alexander, he's been banged up throughout a majority of the season. And so it's been impressive that the Packers have been able to play as well as they have been, all things considered, like, with the injuries as well. It hasn't been nearly as succinct. Now, on the flip side, Eagles struggled with injuries early on, like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They both kind of missed an equal amount of time early on. But since then, though, they've been pretty coming to my head. Let me know if I'm wrong, Eagles fans. Pretty clean overall. And they've been able to have that rhythm, one of the best offensive lines in the league. I don't think they've had any major offensive line injuries. And I'm going to say that, like, it's always going to comment, like, player X, like, missed the season.
Yeah.
And so, but I think because of that, though, it's allowed for Saquon to have the season that he's had with this, uh, how dominant the offensive line has been. They've been able to stay succinct this entire time. Mekhi Becton's been a great signing, and it has done really well. Jordan Mailata, Lane Johnson, also Cam Jurgens as well. Right guard, I'm blanking on the right guard's name, and I apologize about that. So that as well. It's funny, like, you go look, you would think that the Philadelphia Eagles can't throw the ball because they're 30th in passing yards per game at averaging just like 187 per game. But it's because they're able to run the ball like super easily, and they're in the lead for a majority of these games. If this team needs to air it out, Jalen Hurts is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You have AJ Brown, one of the best receivers in the league as well. And with how effective they are running, play action works extremely well for this team. So it's going to play to the strengths of AJ Brown, play to the strengths of Devontae Smith, and it makes it really tough to kind of to go and balance. And that's what I think. Looking back to that Week 1 game, that's what that's what I think. That's what I felt. Packers defense, just like a lot of defenses, really struggled with in that game. They were playing on an ice rink, to be fair, but
Yeah.
it took the Eagles a quarter, and Jalen Hurts made a couple of bad throws to start off the game. But after that point, though, this offense was able to kind of do whatever they wanted uh, uh, when it came to playing that Packers game. And I know that was Week 1. That's wild to say that was 4 months ago, or was it 5? I don't know. Early September, but I think from there, the Eagles, I think, have only gotten better.
Yeah.
I think this offensive game, the passing game, I think we haven't really seen fully how great it can be, just because they haven't had to do it, because Saquon's had that nearly record breaking season. And I think the Eagles can beat you in multiple ways. We haven't even talked about this Eagles defense, though, too. You want to talk about an absolute turnaround of a
And
defense from last year to
they
this year.
do have, sorry to cut you off, but there are two guys, Brandon Graham and James Bradbury, are on IR. They've been on IR. James
Yep.
Bradbury early in the year, and Brandon Graham. Those are the two guys that I see on the injured reserve list that are impactful.
But even then, too, so Brandon Graham, great Philadelphia Eagles player, going to go in the Ring of Honor or the Eagles Hall of Fame, maybe even Hall of Fame in general. I have to go back and look at his stats, but he tore his bicep, and he was an older guy, more rotational piece anyways. The heart of that defense is going to be Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis
Mhm.
up the middle. Then you have a
It,
great secondary with Quiddy Mitchell, Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean. You got Reed
yeah,
Blankenship back there as well. So and there's even other great players as well. That Hassan Reddick as well. Their edge rushers has had a good season. So, like, this Eagles defense, if I'm looking at it now, they are. Let me go over one more. I just want to see this. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Uh, First in yards allowed, total yards allowed. First in passing yards allowed. 10th in rushing yards allowed. 13th in sacks. They have 41 sacks on the season. Sixth in takeaways. 26 takeaways on the season. So it's like, so not only can this offense beat you in so many different ways, this defense is super hard to score on as well. We've really only seen them falter as of late. That's coming to my memory is this the Washington game, where it's kind of very uncharacteristic game
yeah.
for them as a whole. So, and Packers fans, if you're still tuned into us, because I know we were just like, we're very complimentary of the Eagles as a whole. That's, I think, is going to be y'all's challenge. Is you guys are a little banged up, not having Christian Watson, and your guys' offensive system doesn't really rely on one player. There's not a superstar receiver on that team, but it's because the Matt LaFleur offense is extremely well made. It's very Buffalo's offense and Green Bay's offense is very similar in my mind, where if someone could have the 100-yard day, then the next game is going to be somebody else because of the motion that they have in there. It's very free flowing, multiple different guys Jordan Love could throw to. Josh Jacobs has had a good season as well, but this is going to be going up against one of the better defenses in the league. and one of the better offenses in the league. And it's just how are the Packers going to be able to mask for their deficiencies, which is going to be secondary, in my opinion, and also to just the lack of that superstar skill position player power. I feel like this offense is going to have to play near perfect against this Philadelphia Eagles defense.
Yeah, and that's kind of to get into predictions here is I think the Packers will have to play perfect to come out and win this game. And I just don't think that that's going to be possible with all the injuries that they've had. Jordan Love is going to be nursing an elbow nerve injury in his throwing hand. And I just think Philadelphia, they're just primed for, I think, a late playoff push
Mhm.
here in 2024, 2025 now. But I'm going to go with Philadelphia. I think they're just in the better spot. They're healthier. They're playing well at the right time. So I'm going with Philly.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Philly also here as well. I think it's going to be, it does seem kind of like destiny, for Philly to have to go to Ford Field to play
Mhm.
Detroit. If Detroit's going to go on this big ascending, season that they're having, they're going to have to somehow stop like one of the best rushing back seasons that we've seen in a long time. Considering all the injuries that they've had on defense, that's kind of the matchup I really want to go and see. It's going to be interesting too. Also, if Philly wins this game and the Vikings win this game, and somehow things pan out to Minnesota going up to Philly, I think that'd be an amazing matchup as well.
Oh
So,
yeah.
but you got to take it one play at a time. I think Philly's just the better team overall. I think they're going to be healthier. I think they're also having a storybook season with Saquon coming over as well, and should have broken the record. He would have broken the record if he
Oh
had played.
yeah.
I get why you don't play him, but I'm going to go with Philadelphia here also.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this one here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Green Bay Packers? Will it be the Philadelphia Eagles? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.